Hey, it's Isaiah from YourHead Software. It's Saturday, August 25th, and I was drinking my coffee, reading the forum this morning, and I came across this post. It's on a thread about RapidWeaver 8 and Stax and how preview updates after you've made some changes. And I posted about this, and Greg Schneck had this really detailed, very insightful post where he talks about exactly what he was seeing. And some of his conclusions aren't spot on. It's really difficult to understand what's going on there in the background. But he was right on several points, which is, one, we did make changes between RapidWeaver 7 and RapidWeaver 8. And two, I don't know that we made the right changes. So I'm going to do a bug fix. But I wanted to talk about where we were, what we did, and what we're going to do in the future. Hopefully, just the next couple days. It's a small change. These are all very small changes, but they change the behavior slightly. So especially users who've been using Stax for years or using RapidWeaver for years, they noticed this change a little bit. Anyway, before I talk about what we changed in RapidWeaver 8, let's go back and take a quick look at RapidWeaver 7 and how it works. So I have the current version of Stax installed in RapidWeaver 7. That's 3.6.2 right now. And we're going to make a new project and put a Stax page in it. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is just drop a text stack in. So I want to talk just briefly about selection in Stax. It's a little interesting and it's a little bit different than some other tools. So there's sort of two selection mechanisms. There's the selection of the stack itself, so you can drag things around. But also there's the selection of the content inside. And you'll notice I can select this stack, and I don't have this text area inside selected. And so my edit button isn't active. But if I select that text area inside there, the edit button gets active. So there's sort of two selection mechanisms inside of Stax. We try to keep them, we make them close to one and the same. And that's on purpose, just to help new users not feel like there's too many things going on. So when we select a stack and we edit it, it changes a little bit. That interior content selection gets a bit darker, and we see the text in here, the lorem ipsum text, and it spell checks it for us conveniently. And the toolbar down here changes. It gets active so that we can, make things bold or whatever we want to do. And also when we do this, the done button becomes active. So the button that used to be called edit becomes done. Now, if we make a change here, let's say hello world, and we don't click the done, then really that hello world isn't part of our document yet. It's just kind of hanging out in limbo in edit mode until we click somewhere else and commit that change to the document. But if we preview, an interesting thing happens. So hello world becomes part of the document. So we moved from it being in that limbo state to it actually being part of the document. And if we jump back into edit mode, we can see that we no longer have the done button. We're back to edit again, and we're back to just a plain selection. We're not editing that text. We don't have the toolbar active down here. The text isn't being edited anymore. And fundamentally, what happened here is Stax has a lot of shortcuts built into it that we try to make completely seamless and unnoticed. And that's for new users so that they can use the tool and not have to worry about all these complexities. And so one of the sort of shortcuts we build in is if you're still in edit mode, when you click preview, then the done button gets clicked for you. So if we're in edit mode and we were to click preview, this done button gets clicked for you because we know if you're going to preview that thing, then you're probably not editing it anymore. And you can't really do both at the same time. There's no way to edit content and be in preview at the same time in RapidWeaver. RapidWeaver just doesn't allow that. So if we hit preview again, back to edit, no more done button, it got clicked for us. And we can see it more dramatically, actually. There's an interesting way. If we bring up preview page in Safari, there's our hello world. So now we can actually watch the preview happen while we're doing things. But check this out. This is kind of interesting. We can type, this is interesting. But nothing really happens. This is interesting isn't happening in preview over here. And even if we click done, hey, it still didn't update. The live update in the browser, in Safari, only works when that window comes to the front. So if we bring it to the front, sure enough, it does an update for us and incorporates the new content. So let me do one more experiment. Watch this. If we put in some text and we change it to hello world, now what happens if I click over here? Because we're editing the text. Can we edit the text and see the preview at the same time? The answer is no. The done button gets clicked for us as soon as we try to preview that content. So always that shortcut is working for us, trying to click that done button whenever is the right time to click it. And that's whenever we need a preview done. Okay, so that's how it works in RapidWeaver 7. Now let's go look at RapidWeaver 8 because there's been a paradigm shift. Like not just in Stax, but RapidWeaver overall has done something kind of new and, well, in my opinion, pretty darn awesome. And yeah, we have to adjust in Stax and everywhere that we're working in RapidWeaver to utilize that new power. So just one thing to keep in mind: the done button was always clicked for us, and you could never see your preview while you were editing. Okay, now let's look at RapidWeaver 8. So close that. I think I can just minimize that. So let's see, RapidWeaver 8. We have Stax installed here. It's the released version of Stax. So I'm going to open up RapidWeaver 8. We'll do kind of the same exact thing. I'm going to add a Stax page. But I am going to do something a tiny bit different here. Instead of opening up a preview, I'm going to open up this new feature that we have called Simulate. Oh, and we have one of the brand new themes. I'm going to change back to the ancient theme just so that we're comparing apples to apples. I always try really hard to compare one thing with the exact same thing. So we'll put some text in here and notice what just happened. I dropped the text in to the Stax page and immediately, even in the background, our preview, our simulate window, updated. And even if we change things like properties, like if we add a border around this guy, that instantly shows up. So now here's the conundrum. If we were to leave the behavior exactly as it was in RapidWeaver 7, every time the preview rendered, the done button would get clicked for us. So if we were, say, editing some text, edit, hello world, well, you could see the preview just did a sneaky render there. It knows the document just changed. But we changed the behavior. The done button no longer gets clicked for us. Why? Because it would stop us editing our text right while we were editing it. You know, every letter would actually sneakily click the done button for us. It would be really annoying. And believe me, when the first version of RapidWeaver beta started testing in super secret private mode months ago, that is exactly what happened, and it was, well, it didn't work very well. So we did make a change, and we just decided that added convenience of the done button getting clicked for you, well, we no longer needed that because we wanted to keep editing the text and still see the previews. So that's what we do. If we click the done button now, sure enough, the hello world goes there. But it created a sort of confusing situation. I think working as it is with the simulate window, it's really nice now, actually, to be able to edit your text here and make changes. And you don't have to worry about those changes actually showing up in your simulate window until you click the done button. And then everything goes over. Sort of a modal content. And that's how I've worked personally during the entire testing of RapidWeaver 8, and I've become really accustomed to it. But people who are just jumping over from RapidWeaver 7, they didn't know about all of this new preview things while they're being changed, this new paradigm shift that has happened in RapidWeaver. They are just confronted with these changes cold, and they don't know what's going on. And especially if you do things like you used to. Let's hide this for a second. If we start from scratch here, drop in a text block, change it to hello world, and we jump over to preview this change, just like we've always done in RapidWeaver and Stax for the past 10 years, uh-oh, where's our content? Well, the done button didn't get clicked for us. That's the change that we made. But now it's really confusing because that has always worked in the past. So we're still in edit mode. If we jump back here, see, the done button's still active, waiting for us to click it. But there was no reason not to click the done button. In this case, it would have made a lot of sense, actually, to click the done button. So if you look back at our simulate window, you can see we still have the lorem ipsum content. So it kind of makes sense that that's what we'll see in the preview. And as soon as we click the done button, our simulate window updates, and so should our preview window, of course. And that makes sense as long as you know that that's what's happening in the simulate window. But if you don't know that, then I think it's probably a little bit confusing. And that's why I decided to make some more changes. Basically, I think we're going to probably tweak this a few different ways until we find the right behavior here that works with the new paradigm in RapidWeaver and the multiple different ways that you can preview. Because now you can simulate, and you can simulate in multiple windows, of course, too. You can still preview in Safari. That still works exactly like it used to. And you can preview in the preview mode. So now there's 3 different ways to preview. And we have to adjust how Stax works with these new different modes. And so I am going to make a little bit of a change here. Most notably that I am going to update the simulate window as you type, but I'm not going to click the done button. And I will show you what I mean, but we have to install a new version of Stax. So I'm going to quit here, don't save, and I'm going to open up my RapidWeaver 8 add-ons, and I'm going to trash the current version of Stax, and I'm going to get out this new little alpha version I have. And so I've only just made this one tiny change, and I'll install it here, and we will relaunch RapidWeaver. So I've made this one little change, and the idea is to update the text as you type it, but not to click the done button. We'll just allow you to undo those changes if you need to. Usually you choose one or the other. Things are either modal or they're undoable, and we just need to make sure that they're undoable. And that's fine for editing text, so no big deal. Okay, so we want to open up the simulate window. And we probably need to change the theme again. Comparing apples to apples. All right. This theme's just really simple, easy too. You don't have to worry about JavaScript or other junk getting in the way. It's kind of old school. Okay, so I'm going to click edit here. And we will type hello world. And let's watch what happens. So as I type it, when a pause happens, RapidWeaver tries to notice that change and update the preview. And the same thing will happen if we go over to the preview window. We will see the changes that we expect. But we didn't click the done button. So now the behavior is a little bit different. We're still kind of hanging out in edit mode here. And there are other things that will automatically click the done button for us. If we change to a new page, that will click the done button. Of course, if you click off of that stack, that will click the done button for you. But jumping into preview or simply editing the text, that will no longer click the done button. We just wait for that pause and then we update things. RapidWeaver does look for a little pause there, so if you're really quick about it, I think let's see if I can do this. I might not be fast enough. If I edit this and click the preview button, it beat me. Well, there are ways. If you have enough content in here, maybe some images that need to render, you can actually beat the preview mode. And I'm going to talk to RapidWeaver about that. I think they're kind of adjusting how that timer that's looking for your pauses in typing, how that is adjusted, how quickly that renders the content, and what preview is going to display. But I would encourage you to open up your simulate window, because hey, you get to see it on at the scale of a real device, which is kind of fun. You can flip the device over and see, the device sideways too. So, that's really cool. And the bonus is that it updates live. The caveat here is if you have a really slow page. I know some people have pages that have, hundreds of foundation stacks on them. And in that case, you're looking at, the time it takes to generate the content can be, 5 to 10 seconds even. And we're looking at ways to improve the caching of that. That will come in Stax 4, of course. Those are major changes, big, giant overhauls to the entire rendering pipeline. But those guys can disable the live update, and you can do that. Let me show you where that is. Let's see, in RapidWeaver preferences. I always just use command comma. You open up the preferences, and I think there's render PHP, use generic. Oh man, of course I can't find this. Enable external preview auto reload. Oh, this is the auto reload if you're doing it to a browser. Yeah, I guess to turn off auto reload for simulate, you just close the simulate window. That works too. Okay, so if you want to turn off auto reload in a browser, you can disable it there. And if you want to disable auto reload for your simulate window, just close the simulate window. One more cool thing, totally off topic, I'm completely on a tangent here, but it's really cool. If you open up, you can save a specific layout. So look, I saved a layout and called it wow, because if I open up wow, oh, it opened up on my other display, but you can even save particular sets of windows that you like to preview your content in. So you could save, for example, a mobile, or maybe just Android, or maybe just desktop, and you could save those sets and switch between them just by choosing a new window layout here. So yeah, check that out. Use these simulate windows. They're completely awesome. And that is all. I'll talk to you later, and look for that update to Stax. It should be 3.6.3. I'm going to guess the beta is like tomorrow, maybe Monday. And we'll do 3.6.3 release probably at the end of the week, unless there's some other bugs that I catch that I want to sneak in there. We try to, group them all up so you're not getting updates like every single day. Anyway, yeah, look out for that update next week. You can grab the beta if you want to participate in that on the Slack channel. And I will talk to you later.